Parsha of Acharei Moth discusses all the avodah of the Kohen Gadol on Yom Kippur, which karbanos he brought, which animals he used, which clothing he wore. But there's an interesting introduction to this parsha. The name of the parsha, Acharei Moth, Acharei Moth, Shnei Bnei Aaron, after the death of the two sons of Aaron. We know the story of Nadav and Avihu. We read it in Parsha Shmini already, with the entire aftermath and the consequences that happened as a result of that. Why over here, before we start talking about the avodah of Yom Kippur, does the Torah repeat? And the Torah tells Moshe to tell, he's hinting that at this time when he tells Aaron all the halachas and all the details of Yom Kippur, remember Nadav and Avihu. Rashi already explains, it's like a person comes to the doctor, he says, don't do this and you won't get harmed, like that person got harmed, reminding him. Rav Hirsch explains a little deeper this whole story and the whole incident. If you look carefully, says Rav Hirsch, you'll see that right in between the story which is recorded in Parsha Shmini and now the reminder, Acharei Moth, between these two parashas is the entire half of Parsha Shmini, Tazria and Mitzayah, which includes all the halachas of Tumah and Tara, including the which animals are kosher, which are not kosher, which the Torah calls Tahar, Veshe'ena Tahira calls it Tahar, then the halachas of Mitzayah, and other types of tumas that come onto a person and how a person can get out of those tumas, and they're enclosed on both sides, at the beginning and at the end, with the mention of the death of Nadav and Avihu. This is not coincidental, there's a reason for this. There's many explanations given by the different Mefarshim. What exactly was the Aveira of Nadav and Avihu? What did they do so wrong that they deserve to be killed in such a spectacular way? The Torah itself says that Shaloi Tzuva, they brought a Keteris, they brought this Eish Zara that they weren't commanded to bring. There was a lack of commandment, there was a lack of a mitzvah to do what they were supposed to do. In other words, they were Kadosh Eliyah, B'Krevei Kodesh, says Moshe Rabbeinu to Aaron, they're considered people who are so close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they're people who are holy people, Kodesh. But nevertheless, they did something that they did not have a mitzvah to do. There was no mitzvah to bring the Keteris in that particular way, in that particular moment, in that particular place. Sometimes when people, especially people who are very, very people who are holy people, who are exalted people, especially when they become they want to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they want to become close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they sometimes fall into a trap of deciding themselves in which way are we going to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in which way are we going to show our closeness, our willingness to become close to Kedusha. But the truth is that it doesn't work like that. In our Torah we have rules and we have regulations of how a person becomes close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and how a person comes to Kedusha. We are so far from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we're light years away. The difference is not even quantifiable in distance, how far a person from his Creator. When a person becomes into this mindset, I'm going to decide myself, the Torah says, stop, wait a second. First of all, be careful what you eat, what you don't eat. Be careful when you become Tameh, when you're not Tameh. If you do become Tameh, don't come close to Kedusha, go a little further away from Kedusha, don't eat Truma, don't eat Kodesh. If you do become Tameh, then you have to get out of the Tumah, come out of the Tara. This is the preparation. When a person prepares himself every day, it's a daily avodah, it's a daily work of how to apply the nitty-gritty of every mitzvah in the Torah, of staying focused on Tara, being pure in our approach to Avodas Hashem. And then, if the Klal Yisrael comes to that Madrega, then once a year, the Kohen Gadol, B'Zais Yavei Aaron HaKodesh, then it's possible for Aaron HaKohen, the most holy person, the Kohen Gadol himself, with the Heilige Begadim, with the Big Day Kodesh and the Big Day Aaron, then he can go in a very specific way. Then HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him he can go there. Otherwise, it's like the mistake of Nadav and Avihu. Of course, every person is born with his own talents and his own strengths, and our job is to use those talents that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us to reveal those talents in a way that reveals the Kvod Shamayim, and to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu with the tools that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us to serve Him, but only within the framework of the Kedusha, that's called Kedusha, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us and tells us what to do. And that way, B'Zais Yavei Aaron HaKodesh, that way we have a beautiful Avodas Yom Kippur, we have the Kedusha of Yom Kippur, the Kedusha of the Keteris, the Kedusha of the Zrikas Hadam, which brings to Kapara, and all the other skulas that are included in the Avodas Yom Kippur. Good Shabbos.